Coming up on Retiring Well with Michael Reese.
This is probably the hardest question you would ever be asked, financially speaking, in your lifetime. I want to go find properties right here in town and buy those properties, and I want to fund that using my IRA. Now, I got to tell you something. I don't like hearing that in a lot of cases, because the first thing I think is, I heard a lot about that in 2007, right before markets crashed. And now that I'm starting to hear it again, that's not making me real comfortable about what are going to happen in markets. I think history is starting to repeat itself a little bit here.
Now, the host of Retiring Well, Michael Reese.
Welcome to the show today. We have 30 minutes of action-packed information specifically designed for you. Retiring Well starts right here, right now.
Retiring Well with Michael Reese, helping you make smart decisions with your money so you can live a better life. Today is the day you can take back control of your money. Retiring Well with Michael Reese, where we believe your best is yet to come.
Today in CFP Talk, we are going to talk about pension buyouts. Now, here's the thing. This might be something you've never heard of before, and it may or might not affect you at some point in your life. But here's the deal with pension buyouts. They're becoming a very big deal. See, here's what's happening. Let's say you worked for a company all your life, and as part of your compensation, you were given a pension. And let's imagine that here you go, you're getting ready to retire, or maybe you're already retired, and you're going to get, or you will receive, a pension of $2,000 a month or $24,000 a year for the rest of your life. In fact, you might even have one of these deals where if you're married, when you die, a certain percentage of that may continue to your surviving spouse, maybe 50% or 75%, maybe all of it. So a traditional pension, what we're talking about here, it's kind of like Social Security. You get income for as long as you live, and when you die, there's nothing left. That's it, nothing left, all done. Now here's the deal. Companies who provide these pensions are essentially on the hook. They have the liability to pay you that $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year for as long as you live. When you're working, that's fine by them, because when you're working, they're not paying any money out. They're just setting money aside. The money's growing. Maybe they're collecting some fees on that money. But when you're retired, they have to pay that for your lifetime. It's their obligation to you. And what's happening today with investing in the markets? 20 years ago, we could go out and get a 10-year government bond paying 6.5%. What's that same 10-year government bond paying these companies today? More like 1.5%. So if you are the company and you are obligated to pay all this out, you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, you're running the numbers and you're saying, man, I don't like this. I don't want that liability. I'm not making any money on this. All I have is a liability. I want to get out of this deal. I want to buy these retirees out. I don't want to do this anymore. That's what the companies are saying. So what are they doing? They're coming to people just like you and they're saying, you know what? Let's do this Monty Hall thing. Let's make a deal, right? That's what they say. Let's make a deal. Here's what we want to do. We want to do a pension buyout program. Here's what we'd like to do with you, Mr. or Mrs. Retiree. We are currently obligated to pay you $24,000 a year for as long as you live. But when you die, there isn't going to be any money left over. How about we do something like this? How about we give you a lump sum and we don't have to give you any more money? So it's always dependent on how old you are. There's all these crazy calculations, but let's imagine that you're, let's say you're 70 years old. And they come to you and they say, tell you what, here's what we'll do. We're going to give you a lump sum of $300,000. And what they do is they put it into an IRA in your name. That's how it works. We will deposit into an IRA in your name $300,000, and in return, we don't have to pay you that money anymore. We're all done. We'll go our separate ways. You invest this to do whatever you want with it. We go away. What do you think? Should you take that deal? Should you take that deal? Folks, I got to tell you something. This is probably the hardest question you would ever be asked, financially speaking, in your lifetime. This is one of the hardest things, because you know what? Here's what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, of course I'll take that deal. I can take that money, I can invest it, I can just take out $24,000 a year. That's not that much. I'll probably have money left over for my kids. But wait a minute. In this particular example, I look at this, I say, well, wait a minute. That is 8%. That's an 8% income stream. Can you make that last for your lifetime? I sure as heck would be a little worried about that. What if you live to your 90, 95? You might be out of money. Folks, this is a very tough decision. If you are facing a decision like this, or you have questions about anything else we talk about in the show, by all means, pick up the phone, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you and help you with decisions just like these.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Contact us today.
Since 2000, we have seen the market drop to half its value a couple of times. We are now in the second largest bull run of all time. Is the bear poised to strike again? Many are speculating that it is, but we are not going to take that position. The truth is, no one can predict when, because they always come unexpected. The key is being positioned to handle it no matter what happens.
By objective, a mutual fund will hold the securities it said that they would hold in the prospectus. For example, a large cap mutual fund is going to hold large company stocks. If the market crashes like it did in 2008, then what does that large cap mutual fund do? Think about it. Will they go to cash?
You will be hard-pressed to find a large cap mutual fund that did not go right down with the market. Don't be caught being passively invested like that. What you want is active management. You want someone managing the downside as well as the upside. Also, don't get caught in the buy and hold trap. You have to remember that in 2008, when the market crashed, it started in December of 2007 and ended in March of 2009. Think about it. That was a 15-month period. Every month, people were getting their statements and they would ask their advisor what they should do.
And what was the mantra? Just hold. It always comes back. Sure it did, almost 4 years after it hit its bottom. We think that is unacceptable. It is also critical to understand what you are paying in fees. It continues to amaze us how little people understand what they are paying.
There are only two ways to grow a portfolio. One is by the interest and dividends being earned by the underlying securities, or what we call yield. And two, by appreciation, the idea that a security will grow in value. If I'm trying to grow to get a 6 or 7% return, and I'm only getting 2% in yield, and I'm paying fees of more than that, then my whole portfolio is relying on speculation. That's where you get volatility. We have all been taught you can't have great reward without taking great risk. It is not true. You can achieve market-like returns without volatility.
We have the tools today to show you how much risk you are taking. We have the tools today to show you how much you are paying in fees. Don't you think you have the right to know? To the first 10 callers, we will perform a risk and fee analysis for you absolutely free. If you had a life-threatening illness and the doctor was prescribing a critical procedure, well, wouldn't you find it appropriate to get a second opinion? You have saved retirement your whole life. Don't you think your life savings deserves a second opinion as well? Again, for the first 10 callers, we will do the risk and fee analysis, and we'll show you how to avoid being just passively invested. Give us a call.
Essential financial strategies for a comfortable retirement. Join the Centennial Wealth Advisory team for an informative and exciting presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner, and learn how to protect your assets from market volatility, how to plan your retirement, the best ways to generate lifetime income, how to safeguard your assets from unnecessary taxation, the difference between retirement advisors and Wall Street advisors, why getting a second opinion may be your most important financial decision, and much more. Thursday, November 17th at Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 or visit send-wealth.com to reserve your seats today. There's no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important presentation, Essential Financial Strategies for a Comfortable Retirement. Call 888-608-5825 today.
All right, this week in Ask Banks, we've got a really fun question. So I need to give you a little backstory on this one. So here's the deal. You may not be aware of this. It depends on if you have children or grandchildren that were into this. But, you know, I have 5 children, and they were big into Harry Potter when it was out. And you know what happened is just recently there was I don't know if you know this, but there's another Harry Potter book released. It was kind of a play that they did. J.K. Rowling, the author, was part of it. But, you know, of course, I had to go buy the book for the kids and read it to them and all that kind of stuff. Well, Banks, this was her first experience with Harry Potter. She was so excited. In fact, poor Banks, she had to watch all the movies. You know, we just had to watch all the movies from beginning to end again. We had to read books. Banks is, I mean, huge Harry Potter fan. So she, in fact, sometimes when she barks, she'll bark in an English accent because she thinks that's kind of cool, right? I know, it's really funny when you do that. But anyway, the reason I bring this backstory up is this. We actually had somebody write in and ask Banks a question, and it had to do with, you remember Brexit? Remember how a couple months ago, Great Britain voted to leave the European Union? And all the economists were saying, "Oh my gosh, this is horrible! It's horrible, and there's going to be a recession, and everything's just going to fall apart in Great Britain." That's what they all predicted, and they all said it was going to happen right away. So this viewer, Steve, he wrote in. He said, "Hey, I heard about all this stuff with Brexit. What's going on? Has the economy failed? How they doing over there in the UK? How's everything going?" Well, you know, Banks, I said, she likes Harry Potter. She barks in an English accent now. So I thought maybe Banks, we could ask Banks how it's going. And here's the good news. And by the way, I brought Banks a little present here. She doesn't know it. This is going to be a surprise. But because this is a question about the UK and Brexit, well, I only thought it was appropriate that I bring Banks a copy. You know, basically, let's bring her the flag of, yeah, look at this. It's the Union Jack flag. And we'll give this to Banks, let her play around with that and wear it. So while she answers this question, she can be very English and proper, and we'll, we'll answer that question. Here is the amazing thing. Everybody was talking about, all the economists, all the experts, Brexit, horrible for the Great Britain's economy. There's going to be a recession. It's going to be horrible. Doom and gloom will soon commence. Well, it turns out that, as usual, they were wrong. So far, the economy in Great Britain, up, doing better. Everything's actually doing a little better. They've had, quite frankly, zero effects with this Brexit vote. It's had no impact on them really at all. Now, that may change in the future, of course, one way or another. But here's the point that this is the real important point in this whole thing. Remember this. When it comes to big events like this, Brexit, when you see the news media cover it left and right, don't get caught up in the hysteria. The news media is just all about delivering content they want you to watch. They're just going to make up stories as they need to. But at the end of the day, it ended up not being much of anything. Don't look at the big hysterical events. Focus on fundamentals. Focus on your long-term investing. Don't worry about all this stuff. It's a distraction. It makes you get scared, do some dumb investing things. Just ignore that stuff. 99% of the time, doesn't matter. Now, obviously, there are times when it does matter, like the 2008 credit crunch and all that. Different scenario. Okay, so Banks, she did the research. Brexit, not a big deal right now. And but at the same time, it looks like she can't wait to get home and watch some more Harry Potter. All right, folks, if you have questions for Banks, just go ahead and send us an email. The email's right there on the screen, and she will answer your questions as they come in. And as always, if you have questions about this or any other topic, by all means, feel free to give us a call. We'd be happy to talk to you.
You've worked hard for your money and your best is yet to come. You've reached a point where you don't put your money at risk anymore. The road ahead doesn't scare you because your money is secure and working for you. Centennial Wealth Advisory, portfolio stability, tax reduction strategies, lifetime income, financial security in any economy. Essential financial strategies for a comfortable retirement. Join the Centennial Wealth Advisory team for an informative and exciting presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner and learn how to protect your assets from market volatility, how to plan your retirement, the best ways to generate lifetime income, how to safeguard your assets from unnecessary taxation, the difference between retirement advisors and Wall Street advisors, why getting a second opinion may be your most important financial decision, and much more. Thursday, November 17th at Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 or visit send-wealth.com to reserve your seats today. There's no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important presentation, Essential Financial Strategies for a Comfortable Retirement. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Just the other day, I had someone come into the office, just like you. They're watching the show. They called us. They came in the office, and they had some questions about their IRA. And what they wanted to do was the following. They were saying, hey, I want to buy real estate in my IRA. Now, I don't want to buy like a real estate investment trust or something that's regularly traded. I want to go find properties right here in town and buy those properties, and I want to fund that using my IRA. Now, I got to tell you something. I don't like hearing that in a lot of cases because the first thing I think is, I heard a lot about that in 2007 right before markets crashed. And now that I'm starting to hear it again, that's not making me real comfortable about what are going to happen in markets. I think history is starting to repeat itself a little bit here. But what did I tell him? Well, what I did is I looked at him and I said, Frank, you can do that. It is certainly legal to do that. But, like my dad said, just because you can do something, it doesn't mean you should do something. So I want to share with you 3 reasons. So I told him, I said, Frank, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I wouldn't recommend that. I want to give you the same 3 reasons. Okay, this is really important. So if you're thinking about this, please pay attention. Reason number 1. The first reason that you don't want to buy real estate in your IRA is really simple. You lose all the tax benefits. I mean, if you think about it, owning real estate as an investment, especially when you own the real estate directly, you get all these wonderful tax benefits, depreciation, and you get to write off expenses and all that cool stuff. But in an IRA, everything's taxed at ordinary income rates. Yeah, you get tax deferral, but when the money comes out and all the gains, let's say you're successful, let's say it works, and you make a bunch of money, you get to pay ordinary income on all those gains. If you were investing in it outside of your IRA, on the other hand, not only would you pay capital gains, long-term capital gains taxes at the worst, which is a lot better rate, you can also do things like 1031 exchanges, avoid taxes altogether. In an IRA, you can't do that. All right, reason number 2. The second reason you don't want to do this, Frank, and to you, self-dealing rules with IRAs can get you into a ton of trouble really fast. So there's a great example in case law where there was a fella, he did this. He used his IRA to buy rental real estate. And one of his places needed, now listen to this, this is ridiculous, needed new paint. He had to freshen up the paint for a new renter. And so he just went to the store, he bought some paint and painted the walls so his new renter could come move in. Not a big deal, right? Oh, except for the IRS, when they audited him, said, no, that's self-dealing. You can't do that. You cannot, if you're going to do anything with an IRA, you can't do it yourself. You got to go hire someone and do fair market value and all that kind of jazz. Very, very complicated and very, very easy to violate. And you know what happens when you self-deal in an IRA? It's all cashed out. It's considered as though you cashed it all out, all in 1 year. You pay taxes on the entire amount in 1 year. This poor guy had to pay tax on over $1 million of an IRA distribution all in 1 year. Horrible. And then finally, number 3, required minimum distributions. Once you hit the age of 70 and a half, you're forced to pull a certain amount of money out of that IRA each year. There have been situations where people they take their IRA, they buy real estate, there was not enough cash in there to distribute for required minimum distributions. If you don't have enough cash to distribute for required minimum distributions, that is a 50% penalty on that distribution on top of the income tax that you pay. Typically 75–80% of the money goes to the IRS. Nasty. You want to avoid that. So there you go. 3 reasons you don't want to use your IRA to invest in real estate. 1, you lose all the tax benefits. 2, self-dealing challenges. And 3, required minimum distribution problems. Folks, use your IRAs for different things. Use after-tax money for real estate. You'll be much happier in the long run. If you have questions about this or anything else we talk about in the show, by all means, pick up the phone, give us a call. We would love to answer your questions.
Essential financial strategies for a comfortable retirement. Join the Centennial Wealth Advisory team for an informative and exciting presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner and learn how to protect your assets from market volatility, how to plan your retirement, the best ways to generate lifetime income, how to safeguard your assets from unnecessary taxation, the difference between retirement advisors and Wall Street advisors, why getting a second opinion may be your most important financial decision, and much more. Thursday, November 17th at Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow. But seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 or visit send-wealth.com to reserve your seats today. There's no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important presentation, Essential Financial Strategies for a Comfortable Retirement. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Welcome to Coffee Talk. We're looking forward to answering some different questions that you, the viewers, have sent in today. And there are a number of common questions that we hear from folks all the time. So my name is John Torbett. I'm one of the financial advisors here with Centennial Wealth Advisory, and this is my colleague, Larry Flynn. So we'll get started here. Larry, I'm 62 years old and I want to retire, but I'm not sure if I can pull it off financially. How do I know when I have enough money to retire?
Boy, isn't that the number one question we get?
Oh, yeah.
Do I have enough?
Yep.
Will it outlive me, right? The big answer to that is depends. We have to know how much income they want in retirement, right? What kind of lifestyle you want to live. And then we have to know, do you have any pension income we can count on? Do you have Social Security? When you plan on taking that? How's this all going to pull together? And then what do we have in savings, right?
Right.
So, that's why income planning is so important. But honestly, it depends what that client wants, right?
Sure. And the big thing that I've found is we have people coming in, sitting down with us, and they may have $1 million+ and we have to tell them, no, you can't retire because of their lifestyle, because of those expenses and wanting to maintain that lifestyle. Yet there's other individuals that may come in with $100,000 and we tell them, hey, you're in great shape, you can live comfortably because of the expenses that you have at all.
I'd say all the more reason to be doing that kind of planning ahead of time, right? We see so many people, they just enter into retirement, they think they've got it, and then they find that they don't have a plan.
Right.
We'd love if we can get people 5-10 years before they're actually retiring. That's the perfect time to
definitely.
build that. So, well, I got a question for you.
Okay.
This is coming from another person. They're saying, my neighbor, who seems pretty successful, keeps telling me to buy dividend-paying stocks for my retirement income. Given that bonds are paying so little, are dividend stocks a good alternative today?
Yeah, we see sort of dividend-paying stocks as a piece of the overall strategy. The concern with putting all of your eggs in one basket in dividend-paying stocks is, say you experience a 2000 through 2002 or 2008 where markets basically drop in half. Now your dividend-paying stocks, although you're getting some income, now that's cut in half, and that can obviously play a drastic role in changing your retirement. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, John, I've heard people say this. Well, dividend-paying stocks are likened to a rental house.
Sure.
Right. That may go up and down in value, but it's always going to pay rent. Right. That's their thinking. But what they don't recognize is that typically when markets start to fall, those companies, when their stock prices drop, they also lower their dividend paying. Right. The dividend amount that they pay out. So people think that income's just going to keep coming in, even though the values change, and that's really not the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for tuning in to Coffee Talk with us, and we look forward to talking with you again here real soon.
Thanks everyone for watching the show today. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to call our office or visit our website. And remember, you only retire once, so let's get it right the first time. We'll see you next week.